Okay, so we're heading into our next session, which is titled Top Strategies for Winning in the Post-COVID Reality of 2021. I can see Rafal has just joined us on the line here. So hi, Rafal. I understand. Hey. So you are the head of Western Europe and International Development at eStore Media, as I understand. I've got your bio here, so I'll just read it out for everyone to give them the full background of your experience. So I believe you're an e-commerce executive with a strong background in brand management, retail and e-commerce marketing. Your current role at eStore Media is helping global brands across industries and geographies in actionable e-commerce performance audits, product content management, syndication, and research of online brand presence and top category drivers. So I guess you're pretty busy at the moment.
That's all correct. Thanks a lot. Yes, we're not complaining on lacking of things to do, definitely.
Brilliant. Well, we're looking forward to your session, so I will hand over to you.
Thanks a lot. After the challenges with the previous session, just please let me know if my presentation is visible in a second. It should be on now.
We are live, we can see you.
Perfect, thanks a lot. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here and have the chance and opportunity to present you with what we believe might be the top 10 strategies for winning the e-commerce area in the next year, but also probably in the remaining months of this year. Okay. I'm very happy to see some of our clients in the audience, as well as some people who we met on our way. So a warm welcome to everybody who knows us already, and also to the new faces in the crowd. To all of the people who haven't met us yet, a very short bio of eStore Media. We are a technology company who helps big international brands improving their online presence and therefore sales, mainly through streamlining and automating multiple e-commerce related processes, especially that are centered around execution of desired presence of products in the online channel. We focus on digital shelf analytics and recognizing the gaps to improve them, as well as the syndication of e-commerce content. So you might expect that the trends that I will be showing will be mainly related to these areas. However, before the trends, some of the insights that we've seen in multiple sources when working with e-commerce optimization. First of all, when we met last year in this event, the share of the e-commerce in the grocery market in the UK was well below 7%, which was reached this year in March. And probably back then, if anybody dared say that it will double within a year, they would probably be laughed at. And yet here we are in a situation in which already in July it reached 13%. So probably today, considering it's been another 3 months, it's probably already higher. And with this in mind, probably the outlook for 22% in 2025 is already an outdated one, and it will reach even more by then. This sales has been generated not only by the existing shoppers buying more, but whole new demographics entering the online category. And one of the more interesting groups, and maybe also the biggest one, are the senior citizens, also called the silver surfers. I love this term, by the way. And why this group is relevant, size is one thing that I mentioned, but also the studies are showing that they might have specific expectations in terms of how they buy online and what helps them buy more frequently and more often. And such things would include, for example, having focused offers or more friendly apps with simpler, cleaner web design. So there are some learnings here for both brands and the retailers who are serving such a prospect group. And thirdly, we all know that the main reason for the shoppers to try the online channel, for the ones who haven't been using it before, were the COVID-19 related reasons. However, once they tried and discovered this way of shopping, they were discovering multiple other benefits, such as time saving, no queues, at least not anymore in the UK after the capacity of grocery retailers have been increased. Convenience to shop 24/7, clarity on out of stocks, you know, before you go shopping, if you will be able to buy all that you needed or not. No impulse purchases, which means less money spent, but also considering that most of the impulse products are snacks or sweets, also lower calorie intake and no extra weight gained. And on top of this, there are many other reasons which are less important ones. But looking at this list, we can already see that once somebody discovers all of these benefits, they are probably likely to stay with this channel, even if the main reason is gone. And we already see this kind of behavior. What it's translating to is the fact that the e-commerce is on the management radar like never before. I would imagine that most of you have probably been in the boardroom, and obviously a virtual one this year, already more times than in the last 5 years together. And we also see this in the increased number of multiple requests from our clients. So we estimate that our engagement this year is around 91% higher than in the last year. And by this, we mean higher usage of e-commerce platforms, more data requests, more consulting and advice requests. And most of these are focused on helping our clients understand where they are with their e-commerce presence, what needs to be improved to be more competitive, and what should be done now. So what 10 strategies would we recommend based on the trends that we see and the data that we access and analyze? First of all, get ready for the rise of the marketplaces. Why? We can already see that this model is becoming more and more popular across the globe. It's not yet huge in the e-commerce grocery market in the UK. However, it proves to work in other developed markets. It is liked by the shoppers who tend to buy more and spend more money on these platforms. And already more than 50% of UK regular online shoppers are using it. It is liked by the platform's operators as it gives them quite an easy option to increase sales, and it's proven to increase the sales on average by 7%. And also some of the grocery retailers are already either launching the marketplace or considering it. So we all already heard about Asda and Iceland and Range, and more are probably to follow suit. So what do you need to do as a brand to get ready for this? So first of all, get ready to monitor such platforms and be able to track which sellers are the top ones for you and how your products are represented in such platforms. Number 2, master your Amazon partnership. Again, Amazon is growing faster than the regular grocery market in the UK. Based on a sample from our FMCG clients in the UK, we see the growth of between 100 to 200% versus 92 average UK grocery e-commerce growth. Most of the online shoppers in the UK already use Amazon, so it's a very easy activity for them to expand their reach. And also, Amazon has been reported to say that they are planning to extend their presence in online grocery in the UK. And as they are planning to be a long-term market leader, they are not looking for profits in the short term. And we know from Amazon history that they are very good at waiting out, building the market coverage, and realizing the profits in the longer term. So what does a brand need to do to get ready for this? On top of mastering the commercial relationship, as well as understanding what works best on their platform, for example, when you look at the content area, understanding what type of content to use, how to optimize it, what to say in the title versus bullet points versus descriptions, etc., you should obviously make sure that your digital shelf analytic platforms covers all of the Amazon-related features such as buy box won or lost, 3P sellers monitoring, sales and market shares estimate, and all of the other areas that might also be relevant on Amazon for your business. Number 3, get ready for the rise of click and collect. This might be a little bit farther away for the UK than marketplaces and Amazon, But also, this is something that is growing in relevance and importance since the COVID-19 has started. And even though UK is still far away in terms of maturity of this model versus the markets like France or the United States, still all major grocers offer this kind of delivery service with on average between 200 to 500 collection points. The new players are entering this delivery method with even discounters starting to use it, like the recent entry of Aldi into click and collect. And also, it can become a new normal, especially in the areas which support such a model, like rural and suburban areas, when you have a lot of space, fewer traffic concerns, and many convenient pickup locations. And from the perspective of a shopper, in many cases, this can be cheaper than the delivery. You can have more slots and adapt this more flexibly to fit it in your busy schedule. Number 4, eliminate out of stocks like never before. As you are all aware, out of stocks are the key reason for lost business in online channel. If your products are not available, you can have perfectly optimized content within top search positions and still nobody will be able to buy your products. And the average out of stock level that comes out of our reports, which is 14% this year, might not seem high, but if you think about all the lost sales connected with it, especially if it touches your bestsellers and your top retailers, then I guess that nobody in this audience can afford to lose such a significant sales or your target percentage. So what we also heard from the shopper feedback is that with another lockdown starting, at this stage is a soft one, they are starting to think about another round of stockpiling. And if this happens, you might want your products to be as available as possible so that your shoppers are not stockpiling your competitors' products for the coming weeks. And in terms of how can you get ready, what you can do, from our perspective is making sure that the platform that you're using for reporting out of stock is actionable, enables your e-commerce key account managers to see very quickly where the problem is and act accordingly with a preferred option of email alerts on all of the out of stocks that are happening every day. Number 5, advance your skills in winning search. With the sudden move of the grocery channel to e-commerce, search has been one of the hottest topics this year, and we've been having multiple conversations around it and how to drive the traffic and visibility of the shoppers to your products. In response to this, we have come up with this checklist, and unless your brand is a clear market leader who is searched by the brand name like Pampers or Marmite, you should actually try to tick all the boxes to maximize your search performance. The top hints would be have a digital shelf analytics tool that allows you to track your search performance by keyword, by retailer, so that your search optimization team can optimize down to this detailed level. Also, food is a super hot category now in e-commerce, with multiple new entrants to the market. So it's good to understand all of the new trends that are happening and new keywords that are related to it, not only on the retailer level, but also outside of it, so that you can capitalize on this knowledge and include it in your content strategy well ahead before your competitors and also before your shoppers hit the stores. Also, we would recommend you to understand and leverage seasonal keywords. And if you don't find it actionable to keep them in your content throughout the year, to just use them for the specific occasions and events. And if you have a content delivery platform which automates content delivery and lets you change it seamlessly, then it should be a very quick and swift process. It's also crucial to work with a data-based content agency, which would understand your data, analyze it on a daily basis, look at your search ranks, look at your share of search, and adapt the content accordingly, rather than focusing only on developing beautiful designs and copy, which looks great, but doesn't really sell. One more thing that we've noticed with some of our clients earlier this month is that boosting your organic presence with paid campaigns before Prime shopping events like Prime Day this month can help you position much better your products for the particular day or time of the event. So this is also something that could be considered. Number 6, drive actionability and make it simple for your team. With so much happening in e-commerce in 2020, you need the tools and technology which would help you make decisions and take actions in as little time as possible. There is no time right now for deep analysis, complicated reports, and digging through the data. It still needs to be done, but this should actually be done as much as possible by machines and AI, and you and your teams should receive aggregated data in an actionable way and just focus on the top business drivers. Our experience from this year shows that there is still a lot to be done in the very basic of e-commerce presence, the 3 areas that you can see on the slide. So out of stocks, e-commerce implementation, and share of search. And we're recommending a focus on these 3. And as you can see from this, again, aggregated and average data from eStore check, the average level of out of stock is 14%, whereas we believe that the maximum number you should plan for is 5. E-content implementation of all of this beautiful and effective content that you have been working on is around 30%, and share is only executed at slightly above 50% of the targets. Number 7, automate your online execution wherever possible. What I'm showing here is just an example of what we believe in should be the future of this industry. And we believe this should pretty much be an interface of interconnected and automatized solutions and data flow. And whereas not all of this is possible today, we encourage you to look for partners and solutions that already enable as much as possible of these automation examples. When you look at the content delivery or ratings and reviews syndication, this platform can already be automatically connected with your digital shelf analytics platform and enable automatic triggering of sending the triggers to close your gaps. So whenever you have this chance, it's a great moment to use it and start doing less manual work wherever possible. The last 3 strategies will be relating to ratings and reviews, as this has been a great year in terms of the development of this area of the digital shelf. So first of all, we encourage you not to disregard ratings and reviews, even in the categories where they didn't used to be relevant until now. We're very aware that ratings and reviews in food and grocery are still way behind categories such as consumer electronics or home appliances. However, it has been changing dramatically this year. One of the examples of the research that we did recently for wine category showed that whereas the regular shoppers don't really pay attention to ratings and reviews and know what to buy, more and more occasional shoppers who are buying less frequently, for whom buying a good bottle of wine is a significant expense and they don't really know how to choose it, are referring to ratings and reviews more than before. Number 9, use unprecedented scale of reviews to learn from your shoppers. We've noticed that this year there are much more reviews submitted than in the last years. You can see that whereas the beginning of the year before COVID erupted, it was still quite stable. However, March, April, we already noticed an increase of on average 20% in terms of number of reviews versus last year across the categories. And in May, June, it was already 60% more. And the following months will probably show an even higher increase. And reviews are a great source of knowledge about your products, what your shoppers think about them, and where you can improve in many areas. And where we believe you can learn the most is what are the product shortcomings in your products and what you can do with your R&D colleagues to address them. Secondly, what are the category driving product features and checking if you have them in your product and if you are using them in your communication. And thirdly, you can discover unmet needs in the market and address them with your portfolio or product changes with your R&D colleagues. And the examples that you can see on the slide show you a sample map of product features and which are driving the category, which are the playmakers. And below you can see an example of an unmet need, a research done for coffee machines where we discovered that durability was the feature that was very poorly assessed. And then the first player who learned this can check if they have it in the product, and secondly, if they communicate it. And this is maybe a non-grocery example, but you can imagine that this year we're having more and more of such conversations in the grocery industry as well. Strategy number 10, and the last one, if your shoppers don't leave reviews, encourage them to do it or lose competitiveness. What you can see in this slide is the increase in the number of reviews required for a product to be among top 10% products with the highest number of reviews. We extracted the sample data for one of the grocery categories in the UK on the left-hand side and for one of the beauty categories on the right-hand side. And you can see that in the case of the retailers with the slowest increase in terms of number of reviews required to be in top reviewed products, your product still had to have 100% more reviews in retailers such as Asda, Morrisons, or Boots. But if you look at an example of Tesco or even Amazon, it required to have 6 times more reviews than in the last year to be among the products with the highest number of reviews. So if your shoppers don't leave their reviews, your product can be at the very bottom of this ranking. I hope that each of you will be able to leverage at least a few of these strategies to drive your e-commerce performance in this post-COVID or second wave of COVID times. And I am happy to answer questions if you have any.
Thanks, Rafal. Great session. Love the Silver Surfers term. I've not heard that one before, but we'll definitely be using that. You've had quite a few questions come through. I will try and get through as many as I can. So the first question is on click and collect. Do you think this is what shoppers want or retailers want, or a bit of both?
I think that the more benefits are visible to shoppers with the ones I think I mentioned. So potentially lower delivery costs, more slots, more flexibility in terms of timing when you pick up. Obviously for retailers, it also should be interesting as you still have the collecting cost of the products, but you don't need to pay and charge for delivery. So I see the benefits on both sides, but I would say that a little bit more on the shopper side.
Okay, great. Then we've got quite a few questions on data and tracking. So one question is around availability, and have you seen any good tools that allow brands and suppliers to track and optimize availability at a retailer, whether shopping online or in store?
I'm not an expert in the store shopping and offline, and for availability tracking online, as you probably understand from my presentation, we do offer this service and we believe we are good at it. So I cannot promote any other solutions. So if anybody is looking for one to do exactly this, we're happy to show you how we do it and how we believe we could help your brand and products.
Great. Two more questions kind of all around, well, different types of tracking. So search terms, any recommendations for good places to track search term trends and volume? And then also ratings and reviews. How do you advise brands to track there? Okay.
In terms of search, as I said, it's been one of the hottest topics this year, and we developed a range of tools that help understand what is hot and what can be used. As with usual suspects, one of the best sources is Google. Even if people are not looking to buy, it still tells you what's happening in the industry, in the concrete product category, etc. And we extract a lot of data from there. Then in Amazon Markets and UKS1, this is also a great source. And when you combine Google and Amazon, you pretty much can understand a lot. And then when you have additional data, which is not so easily available, but there are ways to obtain it, and you build models to cross all of them, then you are coming with very, very interesting learnings. And the other one was ratings and reviews, also the sources. So generating them this year, I think, is much easier than in the last years, as shoppers just stayed at home, were buying a lot, and had more time on their hands. So they just started to generate them on their own. If you still feel you're not having enough and not enough are generated in your industry, then there are multiple partners that can help you out. I'm not going to list any, as we're not really working with any of them, so it's hard for me to let's say support the quality of any of them. But I'm sure you know at least a few of them. And then the shoppers should be much more responsive this year to all of the actions, like get a sample and write the review, or become an ambassador, etc. So I would recommend to run these actions if your category is one of the ones where the shoppers were not so active this year.
Perfect. Thank you. I've tried to capture most of the themes from the questions. Sorry if there's any I didn't get to. Thank you so much, Rafal, for your session. Really, really insightful.
Thank you very much. For all of the questions that weren't answered, please let me know in private message. Everybody who had a question, I'm happy to answer. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Perfect. Thank you.